Welcome back! Today, that's right, we got another YouTube video, obviously, for you. We are interviewing Marisa Pilla of Fox Sports 1 and CBS. She's a sideline reporter slash broadcaster slash anything journalism related for soccer, MLS, national women's team, literally everything. It'll be interesting to get an actual reporter's perspective on things. But before we begin...
Oh my God, we get it. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Who gives a rip?
Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Thank you, everyone, for 40 subs. Road to 41.
What do you have to say for yourself?
And just for the record, I will not stop spam using the MMG clips. So if you don't like that, fight me. Literally fight me, okay?
What do you mean?
Take me through your career after you graduated from the University of Maryland in 2013.
Yeah, wow, it seems so long ago at this point. But I graduated and I knew I wanted to do sports broadcasting when I was in college. That's why I went to Maryland, because they had a really good program. And I was involved with a lot of stuff on campus, calling games there and doing a lot of internships. And one of my internships is actually how I got my first job out of college. So I interned at what's now NBC Sports Washington, but it was called CSN Mid-Atlantic back then. So it was a regional sports network, and I interned there, and I got my first job as a production assistant. So I was there maybe until 3 a.m., rolling prompter, writing scripts, logging games. So not exactly what I thought I would be doing right after college, but it was a job and I needed a job. And I learned so many different skills from that job. And from being there, I was able to get some work in their digital department, writing blogs and doing more social media. And then I met a lot of people there that eventually helped me get on air, covering CAA basketball. I covered the Washington Wizards for a little bit. So it was a good place to start, even though it wasn't what I expected to be doing. It led me to a lot of great people.
Okay. And then what's your favorite part about your job now?
Oh, there's so many things I love about my job. But I think when it comes down to it, it never feels like work because I just like being there so much. And of course, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it before the games and everything. But it's stuff that you enjoy. You enjoy the prep, you enjoy the research. And I think I really just love getting to know these coaches and the athletes on a more personal level. Because often when you just turn on the TV, you just see them doing their job, but you never really get to know who they are outside of the game. So that's what I really enjoy too.
Okay. And then what do you bring to the job that is unique from others?
I think I bring a lot of fun. I try to remember that I take my job very seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously. And at the end of the day, sports are supposed to be fun. And that's why we're all fans of sports, because it gives us something to cheer about that's bigger than ourselves. So just to kind of keep that in perspective too, and always remembering that whoever I'm talking to, coaches, players, they're people too. And they're trying to do their job. So when you treat them, like a person, I think you get better results out of it too, and not just treat them as like a product you see out on the field.
And then what does a typical work week look like for you?
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I figured.
Right now I'm in season with the NWSL. So my week's pretty busy. So mostly during the week, it's a lot of conference calls with coaches, trying to do a bunch of research, make sure I understand objectives for the upcoming game. And then, like, for example, this week, I fly out Friday morning to go to North Carolina because I have a game there on Saturday that I'm doing sidelines for. And then I do the game Saturday, and then I fly out Sunday morning to Florida because I'm calling 2 play-by-play games in Florida. So I have a lot of different prep to do this week. And then I come home Monday and I get to reset, but then I fly out next Friday. So it's a lot of trying to relax just for one day and then get right back started the next day, because you have to get on a flight in a couple days.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that messes up your sleep schedule a lot.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
And then can you talk a little bit about the TeleTalk podcast and what its purpose is?
Yeah, TeleTalk started as a podcast just because on the sidelines, I don't have a ton of time to talk. You watch sports, where
Yeah.
you don't hear the sideline reporter for that long.
Yeah.
And that's because you have to let the game play.
Yeah.
And because of that, I thought, I have all these great stories and I know all these great people who I'd love to share their stories. And the sidelines isn't the best place to share those stories. So I thought starting a podcast would be a great opportunity to be able to talk to people for longer periods of time than 10 seconds and share what they have to say. And it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been a place just to kind of get to know your favorite athletes just a little bit more or in a different aspect. And I've had a lot of fun making it.
Chat, should we make a podcast?
No, what are you, stupid?
Are you sure?
Hey, guys, get a load of this guy. Hey, what are you, stupid? No.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I definitely enjoy listening. And then how do you manage such a busy schedule?
It's hard. I think the biggest thing is to stay organized, and that looks different for everybody. You just have to figure out what works for you. And I think the most important thing is just to focus on what's right ahead of you. If you start thinking about like, oh, and then in a month I have to do this, like you should, plan a little bit further ahead. But I always just try to like, what do I absolutely need to get done today? And that kind of makes me feel a little bit better when I realize I might have 20 things to do, but like deadline wise, I really only need to get 5 of those things done today. So just make sure you give yourself good chunks of work and not overwhelm yourself, and make sure it's doable for you to do in that time period. And realize too, like you might be a little overwhelmed here and there because the schedule gets so hectic, but I always just tell myself that you love what you do and this is just part of it. And soon now I kind of have a routine where I know what I need to do to get ready for a game. And it kind of just feels like wash and repeat at a certain point. So nothing new kind of shows up in that prep. Yeah.
Sure. Who were some of your role models growing up?
There are so many. I think what really got me to love sports, my dad introduced me to soccer when I was really little. So I have him to give credit for why I love this game so much. But I watched, the 99 Women's World Cup when I was 8 years old. And a lot of those women I just looked up to, like Julie Foudy's and Michelle Akers and Mia Hamm, because, they made it cool for girls to like sports. And that was a big deal. But in the broadcast world, I've always looked up to like Michelle Tafoya. I think she does a really great job. Bob Lee. I really enjoyed his like investigative and long form interviews. I think Carissa Thompson does such a great job. She's a really good interviewer and she's a great host. And that's what's kind of cool is there's so many different things you can pick from different people to try to help figure out what kind of broadcaster I want to be. What do I like from these people and how can I make that my own?
Okay. And then you mentioned Carissa Thompson a little bit, and that leads me to my next question. Where does your love of football come from? Because you mentioned her, and also I've seen you've interviewed some football players before.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Philadelphia. That's where I still live now. So here you have to love the Eagles. It's just part of life. And it's just been such a team where I feel like such a deep connection to. So like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I ran down on Broad Street. I was there for the parade. I was there for it all. And it was like such an amazing opportunity. But I think my love for that just came from the environment where I grew up, where it was just kind of Sundays in Philadelphia, all that matters is when the Eagles are playing and if they won. Yeah. And if they win, it's a great day on Monday. If they didn't, it's not so great of a Monday. But that kind of makes me, I'm proud to be part of kind of that city environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's how it is with me and the Packers too.
Yeah,
so you could tell. I'm actually if they lost a playoff game when I was little, I would literally not go to school the next day. That's how bad it was. I live in Illinois too, so I would definitely hear about it the next day from my friends. So yeah, I would literally call in the school some days.
Yeah.
And then, what advice do you have for aspiring journalists such as myself?
Well, you're already off to a great start interviewing people, because that's how you really hear about what it's like, because what you see on TV, that's the final product,
Yeah.
I should look like I know what I'm doing on TV, because that's my job. So, but being able to kind of get an inside look of what really goes into it is important too. So you understand how to make that work for you. I think internships are really great. If you can get a paid internship, that's awesome. I don't know how many of those really exist. I didn't have a paid internship, but it led me to a lot of great people, all those internships. It led me to my first, and eventually that job led me to other jobs. So internships and just volunteering for stuff. If there's stuff on campus, if there's things in your town, like local newspapers, local broadcasts, it never hurts to reach out to people and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Do you have any opportunities for me? And making connections that way, just letting people know that you're interested is half the battle, because then when something comes up, they can always think of you. So just putting yourself out there and knowing that it's going to be a little bit of a grind, but it's also really worth it when you get to work and you enjoy your work.
Okay. And then finally for you, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh gosh. I really hope, I would love to cover World Cups and Olympics. Those big global events is something I've always wanted to do. And I'd love to host my own show. So I'd love to have a show that's on, every day, and I don't have to travel all the time on the weekends, which I still love, but it gets to be a lot. But just to be able to, create something that's on air every day, I think would be really rewarding.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And remember, kids,
Keep your stick on the ice.